What if I told you that the universe isn't ignoring you? It's just replying to a language you don't realize you're speaking. While you're waiting for signs, answers, or miracles, everything you've asked for might already be trying to reach you, but on a different frequency. You've probably felt it. Those strange coincidences, gut feelings that turned out right, or moments when something you needed just appeared. These aren't random, they're responses. And the difference between those who feel guided and those who feel lost often comes down to one thing: emotional alignment. In this guide, you'll uncover 5 powerful techniques to communicate with the universe in a way it actually understands. No fluff, no wishful thinking. Just clear, actionable methods to shift your energy, access intuitive guidance, and attract the experiences you've been waiting for, with clarity and confidence. So stay with me. Whether you're new to this or have been trying for years with little success, what you're about to learn can change how reality responds to you every single day. Ready to stop waiting and start receiving? Let's begin. Think of this. You walk into a room where no one speaks, but you immediately sense tension in the air, or someone enters smiling, and the whole mood shifts without a single word exchanged. That invisible influence, that's energy. And that's exactly how the universe listens, not through vocabulary but through emotional frequency. It doesn't care what you say. What it responds to is how you feel. You can say, "I want abundance," 1,000 times. But if deep down you're radiating fear or frustration, what you're really broadcasting is lack. And that's what gets echoed back. For years, I thought I had to ask more clearly, maybe even beg. I believed the problem was in the wording of my goals. But that wasn't it. The issue wasn't the request, it was the emotional charge behind it. That changed everything. Emotions are signals. They carry weight, momentum, and intent. When you're grateful, even for the smallest things, your inner world stabilizes. That feeling sends out a clear, consistent vibration, and clarity gets noticed. You don't need elaborate rituals or perfectly crafted affirmations. What matters is how you feel while thinking them. Confidence, calmness, trust, these are magnetic. They attract the things that already match your internal state. For a long time, I didn't get this. I used to wonder why others around me seemed to attract incredible things effortlessly while I remained stuck. Then I realized they weren't lucky. They were aligned. Their emotional baseline was already set to receive. Mine was fluctuating between doubt and desire. So I tested something simple. Instead of repeating what I lacked, I focused on small, real-time joys: a warm drink in the morning, a quiet moment of peace, a kind smile from a stranger. These weren't life-changing events, but they shifted my emotional core, and that, it turns out, made all the difference. Within weeks, unexpected offers appeared. Conversations started going in the right direction. Things I once chased began coming toward me naturally. It wasn't magic. It was resonance. And now here's the truth I wish I had understood sooner. You're always communicating with the universe. Every thought, every mood, every reaction, it's all a signal. The real question isn't, is the universe listening? It's, what is it hearing from me right now? If what you feel doesn't match what you want, start small. Adjust your tone internally. Instead of thinking, "I'm stuck," say, "I'm learning." Instead of, "Nothing works out," say, "Things are shifting." Your language reflects your state, and your state drives the signal. Over time, the compound effect of intentional emotion becomes undeniable. The outer world begins to reflect a calmer, more trusting inner world. That's when you realize the universe wasn't ignoring you. It was just waiting for a signal it could actually respond to. There was a time I thought asking was enough. I believed that desperate prayers uttered with trembling hope would eventually reach some cosmic ear. I'd look skyward and whisper requests, filled with anxiety, hoping the answer would descend, like a miracle. But nothing came, and that's when a realization hit me like thunder, not because the universe wasn't listening, but because of the tone I was using. You see, the energy behind a plea echoes louder than the words themselves. When your voice trembles with uncertainty, when every sentence is laced with fear, what you're really broadcasting is doubt. And doubt doesn't invite solutions. It reinforces lack. Imagine walking into a room full of people. If someone looks directly at you and confidently says, "Thank you for being here," you feel welcomed, valued. But if that same person mumbles, "I wish someone would notice me," you might overlook them entirely. That's how the universe perceives your intentions, not just by what you say, but by the emotional posture you hold. Once I flipped the switch and started expressing thanks as if what I wanted was already mine, the atmosphere shifted. Saying, "Thank you for the peace within me," instead of "Please give me peace," wasn't just linguistic gymnastics. It was an energetic declaration. I wasn't asking anymore. I was claiming, declaring, owning. This approach doesn't rely on fantasy. It's rooted in neuro-emotional coherence. Your subconscious cannot distinguish between imagined truth and lived experience. It simply accepts what you affirm with certainty. That's why prayers of assurance are so powerful. They bypass resistance. I remember vividly applying this principle when I was unemployed. The old me would have sent out resumes while whispering, "Someone please hire me." But instead, I woke up every morning and said, "I'm grateful for the ideal role that's already on its way." That emotional certainty anchored me. Within days, an unexpected opportunity landed, far beyond what I'd anticipated. The trick is to move from pleading to proclaiming. Instead of, "I wish I could find love," it becomes, "I'm so thankful for the deep connection I share with someone who truly sees me." Notice the shift, not just in tone but in emotional authority. This isn't about ignoring reality. It's about reprogramming the lens through which you engage with it. True prayer isn't begging, it's announcing alignment. It's stepping into the version of yourself that already has what you're asking for. And when you speak from that place, calm, assured, grounded, the universe doesn't hesitate. It simply responds in kind. So next time you find yourself pleading, stop, breathe. Ask yourself, if this were already mine, how would I speak? Then speak from that place. Your voice will change, your energy will deepen, and the world around you will begin to reflect that unwavering signal. Most people think the universe stays silent. They ask questions, look for signs, and hear nothing in return. That used to be me. I kept searching for signals, wondering why the clarity never came. But I was missing something crucial, the space, where answers actually arrive. My mind was too loud. From the moment I woke up, thoughts were racing. Deadlines, regrets, what-ifs, conversations on replay, future scenarios looping non-stop. I wasn't ignoring the universe, I was drowning it out. It's like trying to hear a whisper in the middle of a crowded concert. The message is there, quiet, gentle, constant, but buried under the mental noise we create every day. Worry, distraction, overthinking. They block the channel entirely. One day, out of exhaustion more than inspiration, I sat down and closed my eyes. Not to meditate, I didn't even believe in that yet, but just to escape. What I found wasn't silence, not at first. My thoughts got louder. A flood of doubts and unfinished tasks pushed to the surface. I almost gave up. But something told me, don't fight it, just observe. So I did. Instead of trying to control the chaos, I let it run wild. I watched it like passing traffic. Slowly, the mental storm started to calm. Gaps appeared between thoughts, tiny moments of stillness. And in those moments, something shifted. I didn't hear words. I didn't get a vision, but I felt something, an inner knowing. Answers I'd been chasing started surfacing on their own, ideas, clarity, even emotional relief. Not because I thought harder, but because I finally listened. Meditation, I realized, wasn't about stopping thoughts. It was about stepping back from them, creating space for insight to enter. You don't need hours. You don't need perfect posture or incense or chanting. What you need is intention, a willingness to pause and be present, even if only for 5 minutes. And you'll notice something strange when you do this consistently. Situations that once felt confusing begin to make sense. Your decisions become easier. You feel less pulled by fear and more led by instinct. It's not logical. It's intuitive. And intuition lives in the quiet. The universe speaks in feelings, nudges, gut reactions. You won't hear it through mental chatter. But when the noise dies down, even briefly, a channel opens, and what comes through that space can be life-altering. So, here's a practice to try. Find a quiet spot. Sit comfortably, Tess. It doesn't matter how. Close your eyes. Breathe slowly. Feel the air entering and leaving your body. Let thoughts pass by without grabbing onto them. You don't have to do it right. You just have to do it. Start with 2 minutes, then 3. Build your way to 10. Not because longer is better, but because stillness takes time to trust. Eventually, you'll notice something odd. Solutions arriving without effort. Ideas landing out of nowhere. A soft pull toward the right decision. That's not coincidence, that's clarity finally having room to speak. Silence isn't empty. It's full of guidance you've been too busy to notice. If you make space for it, you'll discover the universe has been replying all along, just waiting for you to quiet down and listen. You don't manifest what you say. You manifest what you picture with emotion. That was the piece I never understood. I used to repeat phrases like I am successful or abundance is mine, but deep inside, all I could imagine were unpaid bills, failed interviews, and a constant sense of falling short. The words were positive, but the images in my mind told a completely different story. And those inner visuals, that's what the universe was responding to. Your thoughts might speak softly, but your imagination, that's the loudspeaker. And if your mental screen is filled with fear, worry, or self-doubt, no matter what you say out loud, that's the true signal you're sending. The mind works in pictures. It always has. That's how memory operates, that's how dreams unfold, that's how the body reacts. You don't have to touch fire to flinch, your brain just needs to see it coming. That's how powerful imagery is, and when emotion is layered on top, it becomes a blueprint for your reality. So I tried something different. Instead of reciting words like a robot, I gave my imagination a job. I didn't just wish for things, I started mentally living them. When I pictured a new home, I didn't just see the house. I felt the doorknob in my hand. I imagined sunlight pouring through the windows. I heard the sound of a kettle boiling in my kitchen. I visualized myself barefoot on the balcony, breathing in fresh air, feeling completely calm. I didn't wait for that experience to happen. I rehearsed it in my mind until it felt real. And then something incredible happened. Life caught up. Months later, I walked into a house, and I recognized it. Not because I'd seen it before in real life, but because it matched the internal movie I'd been playing for weeks. The tiles, the kitchen window, even the scent in the air. It was all there. That's not luck. That's alignment. Visualization isn't just daydreaming. It's focused emotional rehearsal. It's priming your nervous system to accept a new version of your life as normal, so that when it finally appears, it doesn't feel like a miracle. It feels familiar. Here's the key. Don't just see it, feel it, engage your senses. If it's love you want, imagine the texture of someone's hand in yours. If it's financial freedom, imagine checking your bank account and feeling relief, not panic. If it's health, see yourself waking up energized, laughing, moving freely. Let your imagination run wild, but make it vivid. You're not pretending. You're pre-creating, and the more frequently you return to those emotional images, the more your subconscious starts working toward them automatically. You think differently, you speak with more conviction, you notice opportunities that were invisible before. Why? Because you're already there mentally. So if you've been visualizing and nothing's changing, ask yourself, am I just watching the movie, or am I emotionally inside it? That's the difference. When your inner vision becomes more real than your current surroundings, the universe responds. Reality begins to reshape to match what you've already accepted inside. Not because you forced it, but because you finally stopped resisting it. There was a time when I didn't realize how powerful a sentence could be. Not just spoken out loud, but felt, written, repeated, lived. Every day I told myself stories. I'm not good at this. Money doesn't come easy. Nothing ever works out. And day after day, those exact beliefs played out in front of me, like a script I didn't know I'd written. Eventually, I understood. My language wasn't just describing my life, it was directing it. The subconscious doesn't argue. It doesn't question your intentions. It listens, absorbs, accepts. So if you're constantly feeding it statements rooted in fear, lack, or doubt, it treats those thoughts as commands, and that's what you end up living. That's when I discovered the real purpose of affirmations. Not to impress the universe, not to fake positivity, but to reshape the inner conversation. But here's the mistake most people make, and I made it too. They repeat affirmations they don't believe. I am wealthy. I am confident. I am loved, but deep down they feel none of it. And if you say something that your body rejects, it doesn't sink in, it bounces off. The secret? Your words must be believable enough to feel, not just sound good. So I started smaller. Instead of, I'm rich, I wrote, I'm learning to trust that my needs are met. That felt real. Instead of I'm powerful, I said, every day I'm getting stronger at handling what life brings. That felt solid. I wrote them down, not on my phone, by hand. There's something about using pen and paper that activates a different part of the brain. It forces presence. It makes it stick. Then I took it one step further. I said them out. Loud, in front of a mirror, looking myself in the eyes. It was uncomfortable at first. My voice felt shaky, but with time, something shifted. The words began to land deeper. They weren't just things I hoped to believe. They became things I knew. And something strange started happening. The world outside started to match the inner script. I became more confident in decisions. People treated me differently. New opportunities showed up as if they'd been waiting for me to claim them. But there was one more tool that changed everything. Letters to the universe. Instead of wishing, I started thanking. Not for what I wanted, but for what I was acting as if I already had. Thank you for the financial freedom I'm experiencing. Thank you for the love that surrounds me every day. Thank you for the peace that lives in my home and mind. These letters weren't requests. They were declarations. And because I wrote them with emotion, detail, imagery, certainty, they felt real. I tucked them away in notebooks, drawers, or under pillows, and forgot about them. Months later, I'd read one again and realized nearly everything in it had come to pass. It wasn't magic, it was clarity, intention, emotional alignment. Writing isn't just expression, it's embodiment. It's proof to your mind that you mean what you say. And when that becomes a habit, morning or night, even just 5 minutes a day, you rewire the core of how you think, act, and feel. And that's when the shift happens. Because once your internal language changes, your external world has no choice but to follow. So ask yourself, what story have I been telling, and more importantly, what story am I ready to write now?